After the violent assault, 8-year-old Soyeon survived with remarkable strength, but she developed psychological trauma. She couldn't bear to be near men, including her own father. When she saw him, she would hide under her blanket and remain silent. Her father could only speak to her from a distance, never staying too long for fear of making her feel suffocated. One day, the psychologist arranged for several people, dressed in character costumes to come dance in front of Soyeon. When the girl saw her favorite animated characters, she finally smiled. After they left, the father discovered that inside the costumes were his wife's best friend, and the female police officers who had first found Soyeon. Later, the father approached a costume company to rent a character suit, but he couldn't afford it. The company kindly lent him an old, worn costume. The father was deeply grateful. That evening, Soyeon saw the shabby, dusty character who didn't speak. Just as the character was about to leave, Soyeon poked him twice and opened her arms wide. This was the first time Soyeon had hugged a stranger. From then on, the character would often appear late at night. Sometimes when Soyeon was awake, she would spend time with him. When she fell asleep, she would leave messages saying, "I'm going to sleep now." Meanwhile, Soyeon's father never showed his face to her anymore, only watching her secretly. When Soyeon was discharged from the hospital, her father hung a curtain behind the driver's seat before letting his daughter get in the car. Upon returning home, Soyeon suddenly noticed colorful notes covering their front door. They were all class notes. It turned out that months earlier, a little boy had given up his playtime to study and take notes for Soyeon. When the boy learned Soyeon had returned, he came to talk to her father, asking if she was okay. As he spoke, he began to cry, and Soyeon's father quickly embraced and comforted him. Before school, Soyeon was self-conscious about her waist bag. She told her mother that plastic made too much noise. On her first day walking to school, she would press against it to muffle the sound. Several boys followed behind her, acting as her protectors. When Soyeon passed the place where she had been abducted, she stopped sadly. At that moment, the character appeared again, watching over her from a distance. In the teacher's office, the father inside the costume kept pleading with the principal, could they please ensure that male teachers wouldn't have contact with Soyeon, and could they make sure that other children wouldn't bully her. That evening, the father made a small crossbody bag for his daughter and filled it with candy. From now on, the rustling of candy wrappers would mask the sound of the waste bag. Although the father had to work every day, he would always sneak out during lunch breaks. At school, Soyeon would see the character dancing on the playground from afar, trying to cheer her up. The character followed her to and from school every day. Then one day, on her way home from school, Soyeon suddenly called out to the character walking away in the distance. She asked if he was her father. Inside the sweltering costume, her father was drenched in sweat. He nodded, then his daughter took his hand and they walked home together. When they arrived, the daughter told her mother, "This is Daddy." She removed her father's costume hat, smiled at him, and wiped the sweat from his face. Finally, she was no longer distant from him.